Hi, it's Sharon Lipinski, the Habit Superhero, and welcome to the Habit Huddle, where I share a quick tip, an insight, or a strategy that you can use to master your habits. Because the only thing that is standing between you and the life you want are the good habits you wish you had and the bad habits you wish you didn't. And this week, I'm sharing with you some examples of habit anatomies. Over the course of several videos, I've broken out the different parts of a habit and how you can use them to intentionally make a habit of your choosing. But I thought it would be useful to see some examples of what this might look like in real life. Let's take, for example, the exercise habit. If you're wanting to create an exercise habit, maybe you have a trigger of getting out of bed in the morning. And right from doing that, you go right to putting on your workout clothes, and that's your trigger. And then your action is to do 10 minutes of squats Monday and Wednesday, Friday, 10 minutes of jumping jacks Tuesday and Thursday, and Saturday and Sunday, you go out for a walk around the block. Now your minimum requirement, remember this strategy, it's my favorite strategy. The minimum requirement for exercise is just 1 minute or one squat. It's just to do something just to keep that habit alive while you're trying to create it. So the trigger is getting out of bed, the action step is 10 minutes of squats or just one squat, and the reward is breakfast. So you go right from working out and you go right to the kitchen and you have something to eat. That's one way the exercise habit could look like, but here's another way. Instead, your trigger could be getting home from work. You walk in the door, you take off your work clothes, and you put on your workout clothes. Now your action step is going to be 30 minutes on the elliptical machine, and your reward is 15 minutes on Facebook. Same habit, but a different habit anatomy. Which one is going to work for you? Well, that depends on you and the reality of your life and what motivates you. So try one of those habit anatomies or come up with your own. If you're wanting to create a meditation habit, well, your trigger could be an appointment reminder on your phone. The reminder comes up and it says time for lunch. And what you do for your action is you do 10 minutes of a simple breathing meditation. So a simple breathing meditation is just to pay attention to your breath, not to change it in any way, but just notice as you inhale in and exhale out. But of course, there are many, many different types of meditation that you could experiment with, but in the beginning, try just 10 minutes of this simple breathing meditation, and your reward is lunch. Because for better or worse, food is always a reward. So that could be one way that you create the meditation habit. If you're trying to journal, your trigger could be getting into bed, right? This is going to be something that you do as a bedtime habit. So you get into bed, you pull out your journal, and you spend 10 minutes writing. Now your minimum requirement for those days when it's too late, you're too tired, for whatever reason, that's fine. Your minimum requirement is just to write one paragraph, or heck, even one sentence. Make it super easy for you to do. Now your reward is when you close your journal, you spend 1 minute in gratitude and really amping up that feeling of how incredibly grateful you are for the people in your life, for the technologies that are available to you, whatever it is that you're grateful for that day. Experiment with gratitude as a reward. If you're trying to eat healthier, so eat healthy is a really big goal. So if you remember that one of the things we want to do with our action step is make it simple and specific. So what if we narrow this down a little bit to meatless Monday? So on Monday, you're going to cook a vegetarian meal. Your trigger, what is going to help you do that, is that on your grocery list has a place on it for your meatless Monday meal, so that you go grocery shopping for this meal. And then you prepare it on Sunday as well, so that Monday, all you have to do is pull your meatless main dish out from the refrigerator. And then your reward could be to have a checklist on your refrigerator, and every Monday that you're successful with that, you check that off. And now you see on your refrigerator this long line of X's, this long line of successes each week as you're more successful. If you want to drink more water, your trigger could be grabbing your lunch. That's going to have your water bottle right next to it. So you grab your lunch, you grab your water bottle, and then the action is to drink 1 glass of water and just start with 1 sip if that's going to be a challenge for you. That's your minimum requirement. And then your reward is lunch. Again, for better or worse, food is always a reward. What if you want to floss at night? So the trigger is going to be grabbing your toothbrush, because on that toothbrush you have laid a piece of floss after brushing the last time. So now you take the toothbrush, you see, oh wait, I've got the floss. That's my reminder. I'm going to floss all my teeth, but your minimum requirement is just 1 tooth, right? So if you're not feeling up to it, you don't have enough time, whatever the reason, you know we have a million excuses, that's okay. Just floss 1 tooth. And your reward is brushing your teeth, because that clean, tingly feeling, that's a reward. And believe it or not, toothbrush did not take off in this country until they added that clean, tingly feeling to the toothpaste. Up until then, people would buy the toothpaste and they wouldn't use it. They add the clean, tingly feeling to it, and now people brush their teeth for that feeling. So brushing your teeth is actually a reward. If you want to read more, okay, well, what time of day are you going to do this? Is this a morning habit? Is it in the afternoon? Is it when you get home from work? Well, what if it's before bedtime? So you get into bed, you journal for a couple minutes, and maybe you read for a couple minutes. So the trigger is putting your journal down. The action is to pick up a book and read for 10 minutes, or your minimum requirement, just 1 page. And as a reward, have a checklist on the bed next to you, and for every page you read, you get to put a mark down on that piece of paper. And before you know it, you're gonna have this long string of successes. That might feel really good to you. If you want to take your vitamins, your trigger can be your morning cup of coffee, right? If you actually put your vitamin jar, your bottle, in your coffee cup, the trigger of grabbing your mug from the cabinet is going to remind you that it's also time to take your vitamins. So go ahead and take all your vitamins, or if you're having some emotional resistance to that and don't really feel like taking all of them, just take 1, right? Make it really easy, because in the beginning, the goal is not to take all of your vitamins. The goal is to make a habit of taking your vitamins. That habit is going to serve you well into the future. So in the beginning, it's okay if you just need to take 1 just to keep that habit alive. If you want to do an end of day to-do list, so your trigger is a reminder 15 minutes before you're leaving work. It comes up on your phone, it comes up on your calendar, your computer somewhere. And your action is to write down your undone projects, anything that's on your mind. This is a really important one for me, because my mind can't relax if I think I'm going to forget something. So all of that stuff goes down on this end of day to-do list, so I know I can just pick up tomorrow right where I left off. And the reward, experiment with a social reward. What if you give your coworker a high five to say, I did my end of day to-do list? Maybe that'll work. If you want to be better with money, you want to make a habit of saving. All right, well, let's get really specific. So the trigger is going to be payday. And when you get paid, have an automatic withdrawal from your bank account into your savings account. This is a nice habit to create because it can be done automatically for you. You can set it up once and forget about it. And your reward is for every time that you get paid, you review your vision of why you're saving this money in the first place. So maybe that is a picture of a house for a down payment that you want, or a car that you're saving for, or your kids' college, whatever it is. Remind yourself why this savings account is so important to you. So thanks for joining me for the Habit Huddle. Those were just a few examples of some habit anatomies that you could create, but I want to hear from you. What habit are you trying to create? What is your trigger? What is your action step? What is your minimum requirement if it makes sense to have one for this particular habit? And how are you rewarding yourself for completing this? Go back and review those YouTube videos if you need further ideas on what each one of those components looks like. If you enjoyed this episode, click the thumbs up, and if you want more tips and tricks on creating habits, click subscribe.